Well, you ultimately got 5 years.
5 years.
Was that a plea deal or was that
Plea deal.
okay? How much were you facing?
Life.
Really? You went from life to 5 years.
Yeah.
Pretty good deal.
Very good deal.
How much did you spend on lawyers?
Huh?
How much did you spend on lawyers?
50,000. But the lawyers that defended me in were appointed lawyers.
Oh, it was a court appointed?
I fired a lawyer in the courtroom, the paid attorney.
Uh-huh.
Here's what happened. They initially, the arrest was for 5 kilos of coke. On the superseding indictment, they increased it to the 50. But the informant, this guy Furtado, there were like 2 different groups of the Colombo family. And Michael Uvino trial was first, him and about 5 other guys. And they made a real ass of this informant. Really bad. Actually, Judge Weinstein, who's the oldest living judge still today on the court, proclaimed him the worst informant he's ever seen in his life. He was so bad, they didn't want to use the informant against me, but they wanted to use the tapes. And my attorney had nothing to do with it. Want him in the courtroom. And they just weren't going to bring him. He was a horrible, horrible witness. But they had he taped Sonny every day. There was Guy Furtado, his name was. So when we got ready to go to trial and we went for motions, limine motions, Sonny's lawyer put a motion in to sever Sonny from the trial or preclude me from using the discovery that he was going to have me whacked. And I was known as a renegade client to the lawyers of New York. That's what they nicknamed me, because I was writing my own motions, even though I knew they'd be denied, because it's not. This is going to be a boring thing for you here, all right?
It's all good.
Yeah, I knew they'd be denied because I submitted on my own. They got to be submitted to the attorney. But I knew that my judge read everything. And I put a severance. I wanted to be severed from the trial. And I wanted I felt my peers were not in Brooklyn, that my peers were in Los Angeles, which basically is the truth. And I wrote some damn good motions. And well, we all helped each other, in prison, write motions.
Well,
and the judge, I'm the one who got severed. The judge said, no way I'm going to sever Mr. Franchese from the trial, but I think maybe Mr. Spado should be. Asked the U.S. attorney, you got till noon tomorrow to convince me why Mr. Spado should not be severed. Back in court the next day, he says, your motion for severance is denied, but if you could explain to me in legal terms that discovery could be used for you or against you, I'll make you make the decision. I got up. I defined exculpatory, inculpatory, that it could be used either way. And he says, I'm convinced you know. What's your decision? I said, I'll take the severance. And I got off of that, and that was the luckiest day of my life.
Well, you got 5 years at 65 years old.
Yeah.
A senior citizen, essentially, going into prison for the first time for 5 years. Was it a hard 5 years?
Be honest with you, no. Was it something I'd like to do again? No. But, you know, it's something that I knew eventually could possibly happen someday. I never dreamed it would be on a RICO conspiracy back in Brooklyn. And the day that I did get arrested, you know, they bring you out in handcuffs. They don't chain and shackle you. And put me on Swall Drive where I lived in Beverly Hills. It's 4 Taurus, and he said, face down. I'm facing down the street. And he opens his trunk, and the agent takes out the shackles. He's shackling me, chaining me up, and I'm looking straight ahead. And the next intersection, there's a white van. And I asked the agent, I said, where's my buddy? And I named the agent. Oh, he wanted to come. He couldn't make it today. I said, bullshit. I said, he's taking pictures. He's getting his rocks off. And I believe firmly that FBI are like this. They do their job. They're good. And like I said, I taped the FBI. I had 12 tapes on them. One of them they did get a hold of, and they had an informant posted online saying I'm a rat. Or again, an informant calling me a rat.
Well, Ori, it's a hell of a story. And ultimately, although you had a good run, I don't think anyone aspires to go to prison at 65 years
Well,
old.
by writing my book, The Accidental Gangster, if I could stop one young man from entering a life or becoming a gangster, then the book was well worth it.
I agree. Well, I appreciate your time, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you.